issue I had was with the pre-order DLC. Patrio found the fix for that, so... And since then I had no issues running or crashing or anything.
Yeah, I had like I added a couple of mods from a third-party site today. One was store deliveries, and another one was what I thought was an all-in-one sort of silo to get me bits and pieces, but it wasn't. But yeah, when I quit out of this part of the game to go back to the main menu, it actually killed the game completely, and I've taken them off and it stopped. Mike, with the DLC, no, I didn't. That's what I was wondering, because in Fifth yesterday, Giants, people who bought it, for those who don't know, people got it from Giants the game, were able to have earlier access than people like myself who got it from Steam and other places. And there was a big conversation about the game not working. And it was something to do with the DLC, the class DLC that came with it. And there was suggestions. Mr. Fifcar here was putting in suggestions, and that was a well-known thing on how to get around, because you also had the issue as well, eh? Because Fifcar also got a copy, being, you know, world famous in the farming simulator world. He got a copy early.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the thing was, is when I downloaded it from Steam, I got it as soon as it was ready to come down, which was 9 o'clock at night for me.
It was 7 p.m. for me.
I got it and downloaded.
For me, it took all night to download for me.
Did you? Oh, well, it took 6 minutes for me to download and got it up and running.
Yeah, I saw you playing at bloody 7 o'clock, not 7 o'clock, but 8 o'clock my time.
Yeah. And
it took me 2 hours to download.
Took me about 2.5 minutes.
No idea.
Brag or anything.
I was at work and I started the download remotely through my phone, and then I was at work till 7 p.m. my time, and then before I could get home to have a go at it.
Yeah, but I didn't get the issue. That's why I thought it was a Giants issue, because apparently from what I could read is you guys have got the Giants one added in as the extra download into the game, where with Steam it's automatically downloaded with the game.
Yeah, the Giants posted on their forum. I think actually Patrio or someone posted a link to it in Discord. There was another workaround, another update on it, on a file that you need to go and delete in order to make it work. But I had exactly the same thing when I downloaded it on Friday. The game, and it had an updater on there, so I'll click update. There must be another one after the dev version, and it stopped working. So then I had to delete it all and start again. And then they sent out a message. It's like, we're getting a load of reports back. Don't panic. Don't click on this. Just do this, and we'll see if we can fix it. And apparently, they fixed that bit for the actual game itself, but then the DLC threw up pretty much the same fault.
Threw up the ghost.
So, yeah. That must have been, there must have been some people typing frantically once they realised that. Was like, oh no, it's like it's one of those sinking feelings. It's you sort of like we've fixed this bug. That was going to be really bad. If that had been out on the release, that would have been really awful. We fixed it, and then release, and everybody's reporting the same bug that they've only just fixed, and they're like, oh God, what do we do now? We fixed this, didn't we? Shit, what do we do? That would have been brilliant. I'd love to have seen it.
I imagine someone was running on about an hour worth of sleep and just went full Winnie the Pooh. Oh, bother.
Oh, no. Freaking nuclear meltdown. Had a brain fart for a minute.
Oh, maybe it's just me, because it was like with 19. Everyone had an issue with the steering wheel. I didn't have a single problem with mine.
Yeah,
one
right,
issue.
Yeah, rub it in.
Rub it in, Mr.
Well,
Fancy Pants.
Okay,
let me. Weeks I had with my steering wheel at the beginning of 19.
Okay, to make you feel better, I'll add this little bit in. Then they came out with the fix. I had issues with my wheel. Everyone,
It came out with a fix, and I updated the game, and it basically wiped everything I'd done, and I had to start all over from scratch. That was even worse. I hate programming the wheel. I really do. I really despise that bit.
yeah.
That's
I mean,
why
what
I don't use
what
mine.
I really loved is when they updated. At one point, they broke any telehandler, the log harvesters, and the skid steers for me. Could no longer use them.
Funnily enough, Spudo, some many months later, I saw someone actually have the exact same issue. It was something about having to like manually clear out the controls, and like there was a bit of digging and poking to get it working. But I was like, ah, it looks like it's too much effort. You've already dealt with it, so yeah, just let it go.
Yeah, I mean, I could still use front loaders on the tractor, so that wasn't too much of an issue.
I mean, was it just the telehandlers, handlers, or was it the wheel loaders as well?
The telehandlers, wheel loaders, skid steers, and the Scorpion, so the log harvesters.
They had a lot.
Yeah, I couldn't use the mouse wouldn't move left to right anymore.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I was feeling smug about that because when that came out, I'd stopped playing the game regularly. Well, actually for a long time, and people going, "Oh, we're having issues with this update." Right, typical Giants update breaks us more things than it fixes. I go into the game and I couldn't find a single issue with the game, so I was really smug until I went in and played a game, and I had a mod, which was one of my favourite mods because I'm easy please. I like the type of mods, for those that don't know, that I really, really, really enjoy are things that add just little environmental things. I had the mod that added the crow sounds to the birds. I added a mod when it rained it caused puddles. And I had another mod that made dirt tracks, so from tyres. So when you're driving along the grass, it would make some tyre tracks, and the more you drove over it, the darker those tracks came, and it took longer for the grass to grow back, which I absolutely loved. But what happened is I found out that after that update, that mod that created the dirt tracks uses the cultivated texture to create the dirt tracks. And I was on, what map was I on? Big 4x American map, County Lines, that's what it was. And I had dirt tracks all over my fields, up beside my fields. And what it done is it somehow turned that little cultivated texture for a aesthetic look into allowed to create fields, and it screwed up my field definitions and stuff like that, and it wouldn't go. So yeah, I don't know. I was not happy because I loved that little thing. I liked seeing where I'd been, especially with my memory. It was easier to find my way back to things.
Yeah, didn't that ruin parts of Zika for us too? And we had to redo it all.
Yeah, it did. It turned out it wasn't much of a problem. Those of you that know, we were doing a Farming Simulator 19 thing. What I was doing was building a big contracting business. In my mind, how I wanted Frith to do it when I pitched it to him originally.
It sounded better in your mind than what it did when you said it.
No, I forgot to account for Fritherisms. His little tweaks and quirks and stuff, and how he likes to play the game. So that was what I based it off, and the whole point of the I'm talking like he's not here, but he is.
Somebody's doing a harvesting job.
I'm not used to having you here, Frith. I keep forgetting you here. Anyway, so the point of the whole goal was it was to build up a big contracting business with a huge fleet. And the goal was to do a whole year in seasons where we didn't do any work at all. It was all done by our hired workers, which was Courseplay and Autodrive. And the problem with that map was for a start, because it was doing allow create fields, Courseplay couldn't pick up the definition of the field, so we couldn't use Courseplay. So I got that, redid a save and fixed it all up and everything else. But the other problem was, even though it was probably the nicest map out of all of FS19 I'd ever been on and played on, and which is saying a lot because I'm a fan of 4x map and above. I'm not very much of a fan of the standard 2x size maps like these ones. Yeah. That was a 2x size map. It looked like a 4x map because it had 200 fields on it, but it was really, really well done. Just gave it an absolutely realistic rural feel to it wherever you drove around. And but unfortunately, they weren't your standard square fields and all that kind of stuff, and they were also, the boundaries between the fields were very, very thin. And AF can probably vouch for this. When you're doing field definitions in GE for a field that's not square or rectangle or anything like that, it's not the easiest thing to set the definitions on, because you do it with 3 points. And with the 3 points, you put your 3 points down on 3 corners of the field, and then it figures out where the fourth corner is. But when you're doing a slightly funny shaped field, I've seen fields that have, I've seen one that had 50 of those put on just to get the field definition, overlapping left, right and centre and stuff like that, just to get the field definition. So sometimes you have an overlap, that's fine, but with that map, because you had an overlap, some of the definition went into another field, and of course they couldn't pick it up. So we had to move to Chellington 4x map, which I was happy about because that was one of my favourite maps in 15, which I never got the opportunity to play the 4x map. The 2x map I did in 15 from Oxygen David, and Oxygen David gave a guy permission to do 4x map, which was called Chellington Extended. And I didn't even know about it. It was too late. 17 come out by the time I found out about that. And so, of course, Oxygen David released Chellington, the 2x size one in 17. Had a lot of fun playing on that one. Really loved that map. And then he brought out 19 with the 4x map, and I was so happy to play and everything like that. And it ended up shutting my PC down. Not crashing. My PC literally restarted playing that map, which is a shame.
Why was that?
I have no clue. Don't know why it did that at all.
Because I remember that Sandy Bay in 15, someone did a remastered version of Sandy Bay in 15, and it was was it 15? It might have been 17. Whichever, it was absolutely amazing, and I really loved it. No, it was in 15 because he re-released Sandy Bay in 17, didn't he? And his version of 17 that he released, his version of Sandy Bay that he released in 17, it just felt rushed. Everything about it just felt rushed. There were so many little mistakes. The version that I'd used in FS15 was glorious. It was absolutely perfect, and the detail everywhere, it was amazing. And then he released his version in 17. It just felt like it just didn't want to make it. I just going around all these little things that were wrong with it everywhere. It just felt like he did it because he thought he should, and he didn't want to be doing it. I really did not like that map. And unfortunately, I went into that map committed to doing a time-lapse series on it without testing it first, and I hated that map because I was stuck on it, and it just had this vibe of the person who'd made it didn't want to do it, and I was stuck there having to play it for hours and hours and hours and hours, and oh, how I loathed that map. So I've kind of been reluctant to go and take any of his stuff since because of that. I mean, it's not his fault, and he's done other stuff that's really, really good, but because of that experience with Sandy Bay, I'm always reluctant to go and touch any of his other maps now.
Yeah. I'll just catch up on the chat for a sec. Just give us a second. The best issue, or the best or worst issue with 19 was when the Scorpion would not accept fuel. Oh, the Scorpion as well. I know the Big M wouldn't. I know you couldn't fill up the Big M, which was a real disappointment. That's one thing that was a no-no, in my view, is that when you release a game and a simple thing like a vehicle not being able to be filled up with diesel is an absolute no-no, and it wasn't a good sign, especially with everything else that came with it. But I didn't know the Scorpion had the same issue. You had the same mod as me, Mike, the same issue. Okay, well, it's nice to know that someone else had that. I thought it was actually caused by, I had a mod called cultivators allowed to create field. So you could create fields with the cultivators. I thought it was maybe a conflict between the two, or the one didn't like the update or something like that. And you have one field with 100
I mean, the
devs.
subscrollers could do the same thing, really.
Yeah. You had both those mods. Yeah, I think it was a conflict between the two of them. Yeah, but Aussie's pointed that fact out. He's got a field there that's got 100 of those points, and I don't know how you do it, mate, because I tried making a New Zealand map, actually, in 17. And when it came to doing the field definition, it was, oh my goodness me. How the heck do you do this with just 3 points doing a triangle to get a funny shaped field? It was really, I don't know how you did it. I don't know how any modder does it, especially people like Bullet Bill and that with all the fields that they do. But yeah, I don't know. I'll tell you what I have noticed about this game so far. Even though there's a lot of improvements, I do see, for me, I don't know if you guys experience this, but it happened in 19 when it first came out for quite a while before it stopped. Is every time you go to the farmyard, there's a drop in frame rate.
That was in 19 constantly. The more machines you had, the harder the drop. In US Legends, I was in single digits at times.
There is a little bit of it. Yeah, DJ, you got this harvesting contract you're doing. I'm not sure that it's going to actually complete.
Yeah, most of them don't. They expect too much yield.
Somewhere else anyway, so.
Do you remember the issue we had when the precision farming DLC came out and suddenly the harvesting contracts couldn't do enough?
I mean, these were the only ones here, so that's why I grabbed it.
It seems that harvesting contracts have got that. I've seen quite a few posts about it on the Giants forums. I haven't. Have you tried any, Smudo? Because I haven't.
I have, yeah, I have earlier today when I had my field planted on Belleron, and I had all planted and all fertilized and all that jazz, and then, well, let's do a few jobs, and the harvesting jobs look good. I finished that. I really did every grain on that field. I delivered it, and I only got 25% of grain delivered. And yeah, nothing else I could do because it was the first day in game, so no other contracts to improve yield would have been possible at all. So I sent a message to the Giant support and then failed the contract. And what else was I supposed to do?
Yeah.
I sent the first trailer load. I took all the way up to that farmer's market.
I saw that. I was watching it. As soon as you got halfway, I just finished I filled up the harvester again. That's why I was waiting for so long.
Yeah, well, I started a tip and I didn't really notice any difference. So I thought, well, I'll just drive around here and make sure I'm tipping in the right place. But yeah,
the thing is that it's at 87%. So I think it means. Harvest the wheat and then deliver it. That's the progress. You got to deliver it as well.
And take the product to the farmer's market. So yeah, you need to deliver the wheat. So yeah,
the delivery is in 19 at least. The delivery was the last 20% of the every contract. Yeah.
And you always had a bit left over as well, so you could make it look like selling.
You had quite a bit left over at times. That's
I reckon that if you deliver that lot there, you'll get to about 90% complete on the contract, so you'll still be 10% short.
Yeah.
Which could end up costing you money.
No, thankfully that does not appear to be the case. When I failed the contract, I didn't have to pay anything. I just didn't make any money from it.
Right. Well, that's good at least.
That's all the contracts then.
Right.
There's no more contracts left.
Well, I still have one last plowing contract to do.
Really? I'm still just finishing my first and only one. You thieving beggars, you took all my contracts.
I didn't even take any. I took one at a time. I didn't know that I could take 3 at a time.
I was just on one
at a time. On the other hand, has been hoarding contracts.
Not really, though. Yeah. I've finished.
I mean, he's hoarding the money as well, so from the bank.
Right, maybe I should adjust some of the rules of this competition.
I
Yeah.
am hoarding money from the bank. How so?
I was meant to
Took a loan
say,
out, didn't you?
I meant to say
Yeah,
no
so
loans at the beginning of it.
That was not against the rules. So
Where's all
Fair
your money
dinkum.
gone, Smudo?
It was against the rules. I
one-
just hadn't mentioned
I
it.
bought a tractor, a weight, a plow, and a fertilizer spreader.
Oh, you're going to have to give it
Ah.
all back.
Yep.
Oh, he's doing the whole hardcore contracts malarkey. That's why he's taking 3 or 4 at a time.
Gotta get this
Yeah,
thing to go
course.
straight. Yeah, well, maybe we should
yes.
do one contract at a time, no loans, which I was going to mention, but I forgot about it.
Yeah, well, shoulda,
I don't
woulda,
think
coulda.
Smudo was going to say anything because he did it anyway.
No, if he had said no loans from the beginning, then I wouldn't have taken a loan.
There is
That's
something that Smudo lives his life by, is that it's better to ask forgiveness than permission.
Yeah, I learned that from you.
Yeah, well, you learn from the best then. That's something I always live by.
Well, I've done my first contract. Saving
I
content.
know.
Well, since I'm here, and I'm obviously already well behind because of a hoarding German. Let's have a look at some
I
of
didn't
these.
make too much money though. Anyway, I mean, most of that money is because half of the money I have is because Fritzka found 4 toys for me.
Let me give you a little example of how this is supposed to work with the old drivey thingy here. So this is the menu to sort of like be able to send your workers off to do things. You can tell them to start a work or go to a place. You can also access it when you're in the vehicle by pressing H for hired worker. It should bring it up as well. Well, it's not going to because maybe I need to be
No,
off a
go
field.
around.
I might
If
need to
you're
be
in
off
a-
a field.
Because you're in a field.
Yeah.
AI worker H has stopped. Work unexpected. AI worker A has stopped unexpected.
Yeah, that was me because I went to
Yeah, I saw him as well. We all saw him, I think.
I saw it last night. There is a certain point where you can press H and it'll bring up that menu, but it's not doing it at the moment because it wants to make a fool out of me, which it doesn't need to do. I do it quite well on my own. Thanks, Kane. So anyway, what you can do is you can click on your little vehicle there and you set a destination, which I will do once I figured out exactly where the shop is. I'll send it off to the shop. Where's the shop in this?
Stop.
East Central.
It's south of.
Do you
Pink.
see where your farm is in the middle?
I don't have a
Well,
farm
see
yet.
where see the main street in the middle.
The big long one here.
Yeah, the big long
Yeah.
one. Go to the right-hand side of that one, and you'll see like a little triangle just below where DJ is. He's in the
Oh.
middle of the field.
On the
Who's-
mini map, you should see an orange and a purple dot right next to one another. That's where the shop is.
Oh, what? Oh, what
It's yellow.
No,
He's
Whatever.
colorblind.
does not compute.
Yeah, go just above field 56.
Just above field 56.
Yeah, in that triangle right there. See, I'm actually walking towards it, my little pink line.
Oh, yeah, that's you there, is it?
Yeah, set the destination in there, basically where I am.
Okay, so you click on your tractor, ladies and gentlemen. You probably will see this because it's been done to death in the last 2 days, most likely. But you set destination, then you click where you want it to go with one click, and then you set the direction you want it to face when it gets there. Go that way. And right at the moment, it should be on its way. There we go. So it's that simple. Actually, really, really simple. Even Frithcar can use it.
Yep.
No cosplay.
Far superior to cosplay.
No, it's just a
Sorry,
dumbed
mate,
down
don't
version of cosplay.
Keep going.
No, this is better than cosplay because this is point and click.
Yeah.
Cosplay, you needed to enter in a 300 instruction, 300 lines of code for the instruction on how to do this simple job. Whereas this is point and click.
Right.
It just makes it superior.
This is very much
Once you
like cattle
actually
and crops
know
to
what you're
me.
doing in cosplay, it's what, 4 clicks maybe?
Yeah, this is what you all told me, and I could get a course to work, and then the next time I went on there, it would just crash my computer instead. So
Yeah, but do you know why that is, right?
because
You
you're
suck.
all liars. You sabotaged it without me knowing.
I mean, I hacked your game regularly and changed stuff. You never noticed anything of it. So
And
German
you never,
instruction.
you
Failing.
never questioned the fact.
Hmm?
You never questioned why I was the one that was giving it to you too.
I just
Yeah,
seen a wild fruit guy just running down the main street.
Anyway, so we got
I've
the
been
old
hunting around toys mostly.
seasons type menu here with the growth and everything like that, and you get a nice little display for the weather, I have to say. Now, one of the things I really like about this, here's your prices for your selling stuff, and instead of having it with a big list of all the places you can sell it at and then go across all the way this way to find what you want to sell, they've got it in categories now. So you've got your wheat and where you can be sold, you've got your barley where it can be sold. But what really impressed me, I don't know if it's the same here, but this really blew my mind. Hey, it is, look at this. You got furniture you can sell, you got planks, chocolate, strawberry, tomato, lettuce. People probably might notice that already. I didn't, like I said, look at anything about this game. Wanted it a surprise. Grape juice, raisins, olive oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, cereal, honey, sugar, clothes, fabric, cheese, butter, cake, bread, flour. I like that. I really do. I knew they were bringing production in, but the fact that they've got all these different types of things.
Something I did
It's
find out
brilliant.
in my live stream, JJ, is that if you put grapes into a factory that you bought yourself to turn into raisins, it will process it. But I wasn't able to take away a pallet. I had 1,000 liters of raisins that I was able to then take away to move on to the cereal factory to start processing there. But then I had like 995 liters of raisins that had processed in my factory, but they weren't placed out as a pallet. They were still holding in the factory. So it seems that you will only be able to take away full pallets and it won't let you deal in part pallets.
they might change that later, though.
Yeah, hopefully they do.
Because that sounds rather dumb. Because that would mean you'd have to leave them in there until you can harvest again in a year, in-game year.
Yeah.
And that's just nonsense.
All right, Aussie, mate. Thanks for
So,
popping in. Hopefully you come back later, like you said. So we've got the usual suspects here with the fuel costs and everything else like that. Here's where you find your pets. Another thing about the pets, I mentioned it before for those who weren't here, you still have to manually click on a button for how many animals you want instead of being able to click on something and type in the amount. They've improved it slightly, but not enough to go yay. But what they have had, they've got the different ages you can buy the animals, but they've added the cows. They added Angus. Now, that confuses me, and the reason why that confuses me is because you cannot sell your cows off to a butchery or anything like that. Maybe Peter would get on their nerves and they don't want to tread on their toes. Now, I know that when they originally brought animals into the game, I can't remember if it's 15 or whatever, Peter did have a go at them for that. That really? I do know. Yeah, they did. They complained about Farming Simulator bringing in animals into the game.
What, because you got to kill them, despite the fact that PETA kill more cats in the States than all other charities in the States combined?
Yeah, I know. No, it's because they were kept.
Dogs too. They kill 95% of the dogs they quote-unquote rescue, and they only give the other 5% into homes to get their tax-exempt charity status.
Anyway, let's not go down that road. Let's not go down that road, shall we? Let's keep it nice and light. We're here to get away from the real world.
Yeah, we ought to keep
Yeah,
that.
we'll-
Sorry,
Yeah.
JJ, I shouldn't have started on that.
That's all right. I made a mistake once of doing politics, and I learned my lesson rather quickly, even though I should have known better one stream.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you get your production and all that. Now, as far as, let me get out of this. See, it made it here nice and fine, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now, here, I've had Mr. Duxley try out the landscaping tools, and he reckons they've improved immensely. But this is, I like
I would
this.
agree with that.
You got your different buildings.
Yeah, but the placing stuff is a bit off kilter for my taste, because you can't smooth out right next to a building once you place it down, or it's very hard to do so.
That is very hard,
And,
yeah.
that makes it easier to put buildings on steps and mess it up.
So you got your sheds, you got your silos, you got silo extensions, you got containers to do with your lime and your liquid fertilizers and all different ones.
JJ, go to tools a minute.
Gone to tools.
Yeah, and at the end there, see that one for 4,200 next to the pressure washer?
Yes, that's the GPS thing that came with precision farming.
No, that one.
This
next
one.
to the pressure washer, 4,200.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
click
that.
on it.
Yeah.
See what that does. See, you see the description on the right-hand side.
Yeah, with the say. Oh, okay. I looked. I didn't read it last night. I looked at it and went, oh, that must be because precision farming came out with that GPS thing to make your
Yeah.
tractors, hired workers work better, which I thought it was a joke.
Isn't
I
that
thought,
the
why
weather thingy?
don't you? Yeah, it is. I've just read it now.
I've put it down, but I haven't yet noticed any difference to the forecast. So whether it will change with more days of forecast or something, I don't know. But I have at least put it down. The idea of it, though, I really love the little weather station thing. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, it is. I like the new mechanical shop thing, the vehicle workshop as well. And you get your little electronic charging station for the electronic tractor, and then you got your biometh station for the hardcore tractors, the ones that need to go to BD4 clinics. You got whatever this is, a small weigh station and a large weigh station.
The weigh station does actually work. I've got one of those on one of my playthroughs, and also the workshop. Have you actually tried the workshop yet?
Yeah, I did. I did
The workshop is
customization.
awesome.
Yeah, it shows everything there. You can just click on down through the list of the items that are in front of it. It's brilliant. It's so much better than the last
No
one.
more tabbing
Really
in and
is.
out.
Yeah.
No more tabbing in and out.
They've
It
improved
shows everything at
immense.
once. It's awesome.
So you got all your production stuff, which I haven't gone through. Greenhouses, which I haven't seen. So I'm guessing that's orchards now. Didn't know they added orchards. So what have we got here?
That's
You got grapevines and the olives. Oh, okay.
The vine, right?
That's the grapevines and the olives.
And you got your a few more bits and pieces for the generation now.
Yeah, but you guys know that since orchards are in the base game, one mod or another will add stuff like cherries, plums, and all that jazz.
Yeah,
right?
they will.
Yeah.
This I like. The option of hedges and fences and gates and all that.
Yeah, you don't have to place them down individually and then trying to orientate them. You could just click and drag.
Yes, and also the gates. If you pick the gate that is associated with the wall or the fence, the same one, it will actually snap to it. So you can have it properly snapped to the gates and everything, all properly snapped together. It's brilliant.
And
That's
this
good.
just emphasizes how much of improvement this version of Farming Simulator has done compared to the other ones. The big jump between 19, not any other one. All the other ones, there were small little jumps. But this one is a huge jump and still makes me happy that it was worth it. Well, definitely, I believe it was worth the wait. These lights are incredible though. You can turn these into like this one here. You can turn one of your fields into a sports field and play night sports with it.
Nice.
Go sports.
There we go. And pulled it out last last night. Duck Dooley put it out last night, and the first thing I said to him was, "Oh, welcome back to the SCG," which is the Sydney Cricket Ground for those who don't know. Most of you probably won't, because most of you will be American. But
Go generic sports team.
yeah. But another thing I like that they've added, now this is the shops if you haven't seen it. You got your tractors and everything else like that, and there's a few more bits and pieces they've added in. Some they're taking out. I don't know where the class Xerion is. Bit of a shame, but there's other things that they've added in as well. You